What is up, everyone? Welcome to today's trade recap. Today is June 10th, 2025, and today I took a short in the PM session, and I haven't done many trade recaps as of recently because price action has just been super mid for the last month or so, month and a half even, and I feel like I only really like doing trade recaps when there's something new or unique that day specifically that I can really learn from, or maybe someone else can really learn from. And today was kind of one of those days, and it was about patience. Um, so let me just get straight into the trade and like the day and everything like that. So today, coming into the morning, this was New York Open about here. I was leaning bullish because overnight we had formed this SMT at the low, and we still had Asia high up here. If I turn on kill zones, we had this Asia high that it was technically sponsored, but it was still like a good drawn liquidity here because this was such an aggressive move down, and there was still a daily gap above. And I think we're going to hit it today now, or tomorrow, I mean. But yeah, so going into the morning, I was looking at any opportunity to long. And so I marked out these two 15-minute gaps. We obviously came into this one, and then this was AM session price action. Just complete chop. And in this chop, this is how traders lose money and blow their accounts. Is they're trying to trade price action like this. Unless your strategy thrives in these conditions, which most don't. Most strategies want some movement, like this. Like this is the difference between a trader that's going to make it and a trader that isn't going to make it. Are they trading this type of price action? And a lot of people hop on the charts in the morning and need to take a trade. They feel like they need to do this, like take a trade every single day, put risk on the table, because that's what every other job is like, right? You show up and you need to do something. Well, in this line of work, you log on and your job is to find like a good deal in the market. And this is not a good deal, right? This is just a huge range. And what are we doing? We're just accumulating here. We're just consolidating. Overnight session had this huge expansion. So what do we do in AM session? We just consolidate. We generate liquidity on both sides. So all we can do here is be patient. The only setup that I kind of saw that was maybe worth taking was this 2-minute here, and it failed, and I didn't take it. So the only reason it looked good was because it was way back here, because we swept out here. And I believe we had an SMT here as well. So it was something like this. And I was targeting this 15-minute gap below, the discounted 15-minute. And I just didn't take it because I saw that price action was pretty choppy in pre-market here. And I wanted to see an extreme move to either this 15-minute gap or these hourly gaps up here before I wanted to enter any trade. And so that's exactly what I did. I sat on my hands, I stayed patient, and I got no trades the entirety of AM session. Came into 11 a.m. and 11 a.m. did put in some work. It came down and swept that 15-minute gap that I was looking at. And we V-shaped recovery pretty quickly. So, but because it was an 11 a.m., I just wasn't on the charts looking to take anything then. At that point, I was just waiting for PM session. So, however, if you did want to enter a trade, I mean, you could have taken... No, but this was not that great because you would have entered all the way up here if you're trading my model, which is an inversion. Like that would have been too big of a stop loss. So that wasn't that good. Honestly, like the entries were pretty chopped here. The only thing you could have gotten here is maybe a 1 minute, but I don't see any 1 minutes here. Any obvious 1 minute inversions here. So this is a pretty tough move to get into unless you trade like 30 seconds or something. You could probably find that. But like I said, I wasn't looking at the chart to take an 11 a.m. trade, especially right before lunch session. So let's look at PM, which is where I actually took my trade. So 1 p.m. comes in. I like to sometimes mark these levels. Like this is the 1 p.m. open on this candle here. So we had PM session. So we open low, we manipulate lower, we take out this hourly gap, and we form an SMT with ES with Asia highs. So ES takes out Asia, and NQ taps into this hourly gap here. And we start displacing lower super quickly. So at this point, I'm looking for an opportunity to short. So, okay, let me go on replay because this is just messing up my flow. All right. So at this point, I'm looking for a short, and I'm looking for the highest time frame. And this is something I want to go over because there was a 4 minute gap here. So let me turn on this indicator for value gaps. So we had this 4 minute fair value gap here that you could have waited for an entry, which you would have gotten an entry as well. However, the entry for the 4 minute happened way down here. So you would have had to enter there, maybe stop above that candle there, and then target like this 15 minute here. So you still would have gotten like a 1-to-1, which is not bad. You could have targeted the discounted 5 minutes all the way down, which is what I was going to do too, but I'll go into why I didn't. So yeah, I personally, going back to the entry, took the 3 minute inversion here. So we had this 3 minute inversion, 3 minute inversion here. I was pretty confident in this trade, pretty confident on the drawn liquidity because we had this huge leg up, this V-shaped recovery. And what does the market need to do? It needs to rebalance that leg to continue higher. So I was looking for a rebalance here. So this is where, this is why I was marking out these levels here. This is the discount. We're looking for a 0.5 rebalance. And for these gaps here to be filled. So the 5 minutes, the 15 minutes, etc. So there was 2 15 minutes in this leg and then some 5 minutes below. So originally I was going to target this 5 minute down here because it's the closest to discount in this entire leg. However, I felt like that would have been a kind of a more greedy move, especially because this was such a bullish move higher that I was happy just taking the 15 minute right here, the discounted 15 minute. So yeah, like you could have taken this trade and targeted all the way down to the 5 minute and gotten over 70 points. However, I was happy with just my piece of the pie and continuing on with my day. So yeah, as you can see, this played out. It was on this candle that we closed below. So I entered there. I can, I guess, do that on replay. And then we kind of chopped around and then immediately started displacing lower. We tapped into this first 15 minute. It kind of acted as support for a brief moment and then aggressively tapped into the more discounted 15 minute. So super, super solid trade. At that point, I'd be out. And then this did end up playing all the way down to that discounted 5 minute. Here, I'll just play it. However, there was this chop here. So if you were willing to sit there and wait for that to play out, you got paid very handsomely, of course. So yeah, so this was my trade today. This is why patience is so important. If AM session isn't doing anything during New York, then just wait, just sit on your hands because you still have another opportunity. PM session was super clean today. And this has been a common theme in the past like couple weeks where AM session will do literally nothing, and then 11 a.m. or lunchtime will start to manipulate, and then PM comes in and starts to distribute in the direction where 11 a.m. or lunch was headed, and we take out some major draws on liquidity. So yeah, if you guys have any questions about this, you can always leave a comment, hit me up on Discord, whatever it is. But other than that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.